Canelo likes to punch in the arms like my guys do in my gym. He spent some time in my gym, so I'm sure he picked it up there. But once he starts hitting him, it doesn't necessarily on the chin, just hitting him and hitting him. He'll wear him down, and if he wears him down, Terence putting the weight on that he's put on may not be the fastest, may not be the strongest at that weight. He had difficulties with the 154-pound champion that he beat. So at 168, he's fighting a guy that's been tested against the big names in that division. Yes, he lost against Bivol, but Bivol couldn't really hurt him with any shots. He hit him with a lot of shots. He fought my guy twice, and he did very well. My guy was a big puncher. He's beaten a lot of very good light super middleweights in his time in the last 3 or 4 fights. So I just find it difficult to believe that Crawford can hurt him.
What were the concerns that you have from the Majumov fight that you take into the Canelo fight for Crawford in terms of the troubles that he had against Majumov?
Well, Majumov just, I think, showed us that Crawford doesn't have that one-punch knockout, first of all. He's going to have to put punches together. And he can put punches together 147, 140, and they're going to be quick punches. With Canelo, they're going to be a little bit slower. So Canelo's going to be able to see him. Maybe not, like I said, the first 3 or 4 rounds, he will be quicker. But after that, he's going to be able to see him, be able to time him, and not necessarily hit him with a shot that he hit Cant with, let's just say, but he's going to be able to touch him. And once he touches him, it's a 12-round fight. And it's a 12-round fight where Canelo can just tee off on him at will and not be afraid really of getting hurt.
Yeah, I've seen some people break down that fight between Majumov and Crawford and equate some of the defensive lapses as to how Amir Khan had that fatal defensive lapse against Canelo. Does Crawford exhibit that flaw in his game that Canelo could exploit?
I don't think so. I think Crawford is a lot more defensive-minded, a little smarter. Although Majumov did hit him with some shots, but I think in this fight he'll be more attentive to his defense. But he still will get hit. It doesn't have to be on the chin. It can be just about anywhere. It could be a 12-round fight. It could be a points fight, and that's okay. I think that's okay for Canelo, and he's shown us in the last several fights that it's okay with the decision for him. He doesn't have to look for the knockout. Whether that's by design or guys are just a little bit tougher, he's getting older, who knows? But he seems to coast in the last part of the fights to a comfortable win. And I think that's what's going to happen with Terence. Terence belongs down at 154, 147, but it's a great opportunity for him. All the guys that are around in the lower division, Canelo, want that opportunity for a lot of different reasons. Obviously monetarily, but also for their egos and their pride and their legacy. Matters a lot to all these guys. So hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but I don't think that he's going to be strong enough to deal with Canelo.
And those are the words of Abel Sanchez as he warns Terence that, you can't do what Triple G did. The extra weight will make you slower, and Canelo doesn't have to hit him on the chin to hurt him or to slow him down. And let me counterpunch. That first part is all theory, okay? Educated theory. I mean, it's reasonable. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense what Abel's saying. It makes a lot of sense, but it's based on what we don't know what Terence could do versus what he will do. We just assume that he won't be able to, or what they're doing. They're assuming that the extra weight will slow him down. The extra weight, he won't be as powerful. The extra weight, it will be a burden for him in the middle rounds. That's what they're assuming. Okay, so it's just an assumption at that point. Well, we got to really know those things. Now, as far as Canelo punching on the arms and shoulders, I mean, that's absolutely right. And I think he gets that from Roy Jones. Because, I mean, the first person I seen do that was Roy. You know what I mean? Rocky Marciano used to be pretty known for it. Those bolo punches and those targeted shots to the arms and the elbows and the shoulders. And, those type of punches are thrown because, that's breaking down your mechanics on how you throw punches. You use your arms and your limbs, and your tendons to throw punches. Well, if you punch the tendons, if you damage the tendons, and the joints, they're going to be impaired eventually. They're going to be distracted. They're going to get to the shot point. They're going to be damaged. They're going to swell. They're going to start, deterring. They're not going to, be as fluid as before. But I will say this, that is another assumption. But I think that is probably the truest one, because we've seen what Canelo can do once he punches guys that are much bigger. Bivol, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Edislandi Lara, Floyd. But then Floyd, though, was conditioned enough to withstand those, and then he is, he depends on the pivots from the shoulder roll, because the punches are sliding off the shoulder roll or hitting the shoulder. Okay, so he slips with it. And Terence Crawford doesn't fight like Floyd, okay? But he's able to do similar things, just like Edislandi Lara. Okay, I have another video as he speaks about Canelo Alvarez as well. But Canelo Alvarez, what they think that he can do, what if he can't do it? They're all assuming what Terence can't do at 168, but they have to understand what Canelo, what can he do? Or are they assuming what he can't do? We don't know that yet. See, all we know about Canelo is, he can go to the body. He can damage limbs and arms and elbows and stuff like that. But will he be able to press the gas? And the end of what he was talking about was the decision. And I do agree. I think the decision for Canelo Alvarez, it's very, very hard for a cash cow like Canelo Alvarez, a guy that's fought that many fights and been in those type of wars, and now he's at the end of his career, and he's still loved and renowned. A lot of people are afraid that he actually will lose this fight. They don't want Terence to win because they're afraid that if Canelo falls to Terence, boxing's done. Because, Tank Davis is a joke because he's fighting Jake Paul. Let's be real. He's not really serious about his career. He's just in it for the money because he was raised by his stepdaddy, Floyd Mayweather. So he's not the guy to look for. Who else is in the show? Who else is in the picture? Tyson Fury's gone. AJ's out the window. He's looked like he's leaving. So who is really there to pick up that torch and wave that sucker? Terence Crawford? Hell, he's older than Canelo. So a lot of people don't want that to happen. And I say this to these people. You have to let these fighters go in, do what they need to do, and exit stage left. Get out of the game. Grand opening, grand closing. If you see someone that you admire, you can't hold on to them forever. So if they get beat and it's time for them to retire, and if Canelo does get beat, he probably should consider retirement. Because if you get beat by someone that's 37 years of age, because he'll still be 37, almost 38, same month, okay, it's time to hang it up more than likely or fight Crawford again. But I think even if Crawford does win in the ring, I don't think he will get the decision. And see, Abel kind of hinted to that and, mentioned he's coasted by decision and he's comfortable by coasting and getting these decisions because he knows his fighter had gotten some weird decisions with Canelo. So he knows better that Crawford has to do a lot more than Canelo to win a decision. You know what I mean? That's, if you read between the lines, that was really what he was talking about. But he thinks, though, stylistically and what the ability of Canelo, he is giving him credit on that end on what he can do. But then that's only a theory. But I'm glad he added that last element of the possibility of Canelo just winning a decision like he always done. Do you guys know Canelo skull was the lowest punching fight record? Canelo landed like 55 shots. I don't even know how much skull landed, like 40 something. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, to me, it was a hard fight to score, but according to the scorecards, it wasn't. Do you see what I'm saying? So, no, I don't see Canelo Alvarez losing a decision, a close decision to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has to dominate to get a draw. That's why I predicted it to be a draw. And no, Abel, he's not trying to be like Golovkin. Golovkin is a 160-pound middleweight naturally. And he was that guy to fight. And they waited him out before they fought him. and he still lost, but they gave him a draw. My point exactly. But you guys tell me what you think of Abel Sanchez stating that Canelo Alvarez will be too big, too strong for Terence Crawford. Will wear him down in the mid rounds and win a decision. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys can counterpunch.